Welcome back. My name is Cindy, and on this channel, I help you to pinpoint ways on how to improve your romantic and parental relationships. In this video, I will be reviewing Married at First Sight Season 12, Episode 6, but check out my playlist in the description. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Okay, so this season has officially turned into the Chris and Paige show. The other couples are just extras. This episode heavily revolved around Chris and Paige. There wasn't much going on with the couples individually. There were more group scenes. So I'm going to do this review a little different and highlight the top 10 moments of last night's episode. Before we get into the top 10, can I just say Eric was trying to hang with Virginia and drink during this honeymoon, but it was an epic fail. He was a wasted hot mess at the end of last week's episode, and he was in the beginning of this episode talking all crazy. I want to start with Virginia crying about her male friends. Like, girl, is it really that serious? I just cannot wrap my head around why she's making this such a big deal. I understand that you shouldn't give up your life when you get married, but there are some boundaries you need to set with your friends and even your family because your spouse is supposed to come number one. Virginia really is not ready for this process. I feel like if her male friends really care for her the way she is portraying them to be like brothers, they will understand that they need to like back off a little bit and, you know, be respectful of Eric. She mentioned that her and her friends go out every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to drink. Like, I'm like, girl, how are you drinking? Like, first of all, I feel like she drinks every day. Let's just say that. She probably drinks every day, but when it comes to hanging out with her friends, she's going out every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday getting wasted. And it's like, if you're drinking and by the end of the night, you're looking all flushed and you're by the toilet throwing up, you're not holding your own. That means you're drinking too much. You probably need to go find yourself an AA meeting at this point because every time, every scene, for the most part, throughout the season so far, you have needed or wanted a drink. So it's just like, I don't know, this, like, I'm not calling her an alcoholic per se, but I mean, she is giving me alcoholic vibes. Next, we have Haley regretfully getting intimate with Jacob. I was really shocked when he was telling the guys how he and her had, you know, consummated their marriage. But on the flip side, she was telling the girls that, yeah, they did it, but she was drunk. And then in her confessional, she was saying how, you know, they did it and that was pretty much it. She didn't seem to be that impressed. So she was just like, yep, we did it. Not much to say about it. So keep it pushing, aka I wasn't here for it. I don't think she wants to do it again. So she's coming across really cold and distant. I'm feeling a little bad for Jacob because like she does seem to be hard to read. And the fact that they got intimate is like she's sending mixed messages. Next, we have Vincent checking Brianna off camera. That conversation they were having in the bed was a little awkward. I mean, she was telling him how she was annoyed by him. And earlier on in the day, when she was talking to the other ladies, she was saying how they compliment each other and like things are going great. But at the same time, she does have like a I'm gonna take over type personality. I don't know if I would call it bossy per se. She just wants to really kind of control what's happening. Even when they were in the bathroom and he was trying to, you know, get ready for bed, she was like, you need to use these wipes. And he was kind of like, but like, you could tell he was trying to be patient with her. He ended up being a good sport in using the wipes, but it's almost like, girl, you can't force your way of living. He's a whole individual and he was living prior to meeting you. So it's not like he needs you to dictate his every move. I also feel like the editing this season is like real shady and they're really trying to drum up fake drama between Brie and Vincent. Yeah, no marriage is perfect and I'm sure they're gonna have, you know, their moments. They're making it to be bigger than it really is. And I think they did that last year with Amani and Woody, because things were going great and then they would try to like throw in something to like get them to do something dramatic on camera, and it's just like, let them be. Let's go back to Jacob and Haley. Jacob is trying to be open. I mean, he does talk like he has no emotion, but he was trying to get across how he was feeling to Haley. She seemed very cold, uninviting. She wasn't really here for it. And she was giving him these looks like, dude, whatever. And I did feel bad for him because it was just kind of like, he's kind of a quirky guy and he's trying to make something of this marriage, but it's like 1 minute she's cool with it, the next minute she's not, and it's really unfair that she's acting like that. And then she was saying how she's set in her ways. I don't understand why people come on this show and talk about they're stuck in their ways. If you're not going to be open, then you don't need to be on this show, because you are marrying a stranger, which means you have to open up and get to know this person and try to compromise. Heck, even with people who know each other, you have to open up, be open-minded, and be willing to compromise on some things. And it was just kind of like, she was really giving him the cold shoulder, and she just wasn't here for it. And at the end, it was like a really hurtful situation where she was trying to ditch Jake, and she basically was trying to let him know that she is not clingy and she loves her own space. And it's just kind of like, the experts this season, I'm not sure what they were doing. I'm assuming that they were doing these meetings via Zoom. They weren't able to really read these people because the dynamics are just really weird this season. Next, we have Virginia and Clara coming for Chris. I feel like he initiated that conversation and then it went real left real quick. I mean, him telling Virginia that he is going above and beyond because he told Paige the girls were tag teaming him and laying it down real thick, but he just reverted to being a child and throwing a tantrum and started like swearing at them and just being really aggressive. And I hate to call a black man aggressive, but he was really being aggressive last night, because the way he was coming at both Clara and Virginia, especially Virginia, I wasn't here for it. But then Eric comes into the scene and Chris is swearing at them and he's not really saying anything. So I'm just like, dude, are you going to say anything? Like, why are you just standing here letting this man talk to your wife like that? Chris kept saying that Virginia was making jokes last episode. I don't feel like she was making jokes. She was really asking a question about whether or not the baby was his. The question was probably on the mind of all the other couples. They just didn't want to say it. I don't see where the joke was. I mean, she was drunk when she was saying it, but I don't see what she was joking about. I think she was asking a legitimate question, because I wanted to know, how do you know for sure if you're not with this person? You don't know what their activities were after being with them. So why are you so 100% sure that this is your baby? Next, we have Ryan telling Clara she needs to keep her mouth shut. She was really offended. But the crazy part is, like, she was running her mouth, and then when Chris started going off on them, she started crying, and she just was like all over the place. Her emotions were all over the place. She didn't know what to say, what to do, because I don't think she was expecting Chris to actually go off on them. She could tell he's a hothead, but to actually, like, for him to actually go off on them the way he was, I don't think she was prepared for that. But she does need to mind her business. Like, she was saying how, oh, you know, I just want to get back and, you know, be in my own marriage and mind my business. You should have did that from the start. Ryan is very level-headed. I like that he asks questions to kind of assess who Clara really is. He asked her about what she was known for in high school. And of course, she talked about being a blabbermouth. Ryan was just like, listen, you don't have to say everything that comes to your mind. And sidebar, the fact that Clara falls in love so easily, like, she seems to have been in love with everybody she dated. To me, that's a red flag. And I'm sure that's a red flag for Ryan, because it's like, if you fall in love so easily with everybody, Like, how do I know the love you have for me will be genuine? It's always a tricky situation when people are saying how they fell in love with this person, that person, everybody under the sun that they've dated, because it's like, love is a sacred thing. And like Ryan was saying, it's not a verb that you just throw around. And I don't think Clara really knows what love is. And I do feel like they are going to have a bit of a tug of war with this whole love situation, because Ryan is going to take his time before he starts putting himself out there, because he's a very calculated person. And I don't know what to really expect with those two. Next, we have Chris on the bus completely cussing Virginia all the way out. I was so disgusted, because it's like, as a man, you should never talk to a woman like that, number one. You shouldn't talk to her like that in private, let alone in public. She's not even your woman. And it was just kind of like, he was being really disrespectful. He's always playing the, oh, don't disrespect me card. But it's just like, dude, what were you doing? I feel like Paige is being very avoidant, and she wasn't really saying anything. Eric tried to say something finally. I mean, he should have said something when Chris initially was going off on Virginia, but in the van he was trying to say something, but I think he didn't want to say too much because he didn't want the situation to escalate. But Chris was just like really ready to fight, and it's just like, dude, it's not that serious. You want privacy, but you are on national TV. Like, you don't get to request privacy with your shenanigans and then be mad when people have opinions. That just doesn't make any sense. So for Chris to be so upset about what the girls were saying, yes, I do agree they should mind their business, but at the end of the day, you're on national TV, everybody's going to have something to say, and you really are trying to put on a show with your theatrics, and the drama that you bring is just like, you're trying to be the center of attention, so don't be mad when people have something to say. Next, we have Chris and that lame apology. I just can't get with anything he has to say. Every time he talks, I just feel like it's not genuine. And I know he was trying, but it fell flat for me. And then he came up with that story about calling his grandma to pray for him and having, Paige pray for him. I feel like they are making a mockery of God and marriage, like the both of them, because it's like, Paige keeps saying how this is God ordained, but it really isn't. When you're a person of faith, it's good to be optimistic, but at the same time, God gives us wisdom. This man has showed you time after time that he is not feeling you. He's not really here for you. It's like the words and his actions just do not match up. So I'm not sure what is really going on with this whole situation about, oh, she prayed for me, and now all of a sudden you're a changed man. You're not. You're still a clown, and I just don't understand what is really going on. Next, we have Chris trying to square up and come for Eric. I don't see what was wrong with what Eric was trying to say. I think, Virginia probably cussed him out for not standing up for her. So when he came to the dinner, he was trying to like basically put it out there, like, don't disrespect my wife. I'm not here for it. And then Chris tried to punk Eric because he did mention that he felt like Chris's behavior was scary and he didn't know like what was coming next. So he was trying to basically be calm in the situation. And then here go Chris pumping up. Chris knows he wouldn't dare come at Vincent the way he was coming at Eric. He was trying to punk Eric because clearly Eric is not a fighter. And even though he was trying to stand up for Virginia, he was still not here for the BS. And he wasn't trying to be all dramatic like Chris was. I didn't really like how Vincent and Brianna automatically sided with Chris, because I'm telling you right now, if that was Vincent and Brianna in that van and Chris was coming at Brianna the way he was coming at Virginia, like it would have been lights out for Chris. Just like his cousin, sister, whatever she was, said, when he gets mad, you need to calm him down, because it would have definitely went to blows if he thought he was going to talk to Brianna the way he was talking to Virginia. Chris, I don't care who you are. You don't talk to women the way you were talking to, like he was straight cussing them out. And it was just kind of like, what are you doing? Why are you talking to them like that? Yeah, they should be minding their business, but at the same time, who do you think you are getting off talking to them the way you were talking to them? So I definitely wasn't here for it. I don't think Eric said anything that really warranted Chris getting up and doing the most. Eric said what he had to say, and when he saw that Chris wasn't receptive, he said, okay, I'm getting out of here. He didn't say nothing about let's fight. I don't feel like he was given that energy. So Chris, of course, being the drama king that he is, decided he was going to try to do the most because he knows Eric wouldn't have knocked him out. Last but not least, we have Chris telling Paige he's still in love with his ex. Like, are we really doing this? Like, every time he says something to her, I'm just waiting for Ashton Kutcher to jump out and let her know that she's being punked. Because, like, the audacity for you to sit here in my face and you're telling me that you still love your ex, like, what are you doing on the show? Why are you on the show? Like, you needed to figure that whole situation out and not be on the show. Like, you took the spot of someone who could have potentially been a great match for Paige. And that's really messed up. But the thing is, Paige is really trying to be ride or die. And I'm just like, why? She was saying how, you know, she was okay with being a bonus mom. Why? Why? Like, you don't even know this man. He wants to basically raise his kid with the ex. Like, when she left, why did you come back? Like, why did you come back? So it was just like, I don't even know what to say. It's just kind of like, the mess just keeps going and going and going. And Chris is about to take Paige on a whole crazy, bumpy, sloppy, messy ride. And she seems to be here for it because I don't understand. This man told you, A, he's not attracted to you. B, he has a baby on the way. And C, he's still in love with her. Where do you fit in? Where do you fit in? Why are you trying to fit in? Make it make sense, Paige. Where do you really fit in? He gave you that BS speech last week talking about you're his wife and you come first. But then this episode, he's just like, well, she and I have had conversations and we've talked about raising our child together. So which one is it? Which one is it? Make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. I just don't understand the tomfoolery that's going on with Chris and Paige. Like, let me know what you guys think in the comments. What did you think about this episode? What do you think about this whole situation with Chris and Paige? And I'm feeling some type of way that the season has turned into the Chris and Paige show because I am interested in seeing the dynamics of the other couples, but focus is on Chris and Paige. I'm really interested to see how this mess is going to pan out. So be sure to join me here next week, subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.